So I can't have negative 3 root 3 over 2, so I make it positive. And then what do I get on the other side? I add 3 pi over 3. And then what do I get? 4 pi over 3. Okay, I like to, because it gets busy with all the work you have. So I make these decimals because it's easier to think about graphing them if I make them a decimal. So I'm going to, in my calculator, multiply 3 times root 3 and then divide by 2. So I can see what that decimal equivalent is, which I did right up top there. So we get 2.6, right? Kind of second from the bottom, 2.6 when you do 3 times root 3 divided by 2. So this part equals 2.6. And then I'm going to highlight those so I don't go crazy trying to figure out what the heck I'm supposed to graph. Okay? So at pi over 2, what's the value? 1. So we do 1 times negative 3, which is negative 3. And then we make that positive. And what do I add to pi over 2? 2 pi over 2. And what do I get? 3 pi over 2. Okay, and then I'm going to highlight both those. So let's just think about the graph real quick, right? So sine is a y value. So where is if it were positive sine, what quadrants would it be in? 1 and 2, right? It would be on the top up here. But now I'm multiplying by negative 3, and that flips it over the x-axis. So my graph should be down here, right? Because it's reflected over the x-axis. That's what that negative does. So I should have some circle like somewhere in there, okay? So it's good to think about that, because when you start doing these order pairs, if you end up with your graph up top here, then you know you screwed up, right? So you can go back and try to fix it. 2 pi over 3, the y value is root 3 over 2. So it's the same thing as a pi over 3, right? Root 3 over 2 times negative 3 equals negative 3 root 3 divided by 2, which we then make positive 3 root 3 over 2, which equals 2.6 again. Then I have to add 3 pi over 3 to the radian measure. 3 pi over 3. Add that, and I get 5 pi over 3. Right, and 5 pi over 3 is in quadrant 4, right? So we know we're getting the correct answers here. So I go 5 pi over 6 is 1/2. We multiply that by negative 3. We get negative 3/2. And then we switch that to positive 3/2. That decimal equivalent is 1.5. And then what do we add to 5 pi over 6? 6 pi over 6. So when I add 6 pi over 6 and 5 pi over 6, I get 11 pi over 6. And then I'm going to highlight so I can figure out where things are. And then we're going to go ahead and graph all those order pairs. I'll let you get caught up. So first order pair, I go 7 pi over 6, and I'm at 1.5. So I'm in between the first and second ring, 1.5. Right there. Then I have 4 pi over 3. I have 2.6. So it's about right there. And then at 3 pi over 2, I have 3. 5 pi over 3, 2.6. A little over halfway. And then at 11 pi over 6, I have 1.5. So right in between the first and second ring. And then I have my 0, 0 as well. Okay? And then you can draw your little weird circle-y looking thing. Right? It kind of tapers towards the origin. And that makes sense. Negative sign should be in quadrants 3 and 4. We good? So cosecant is 1 over what? 1 over sine. So if I'm plugging in 0, I would have 1 divided by 0. What's 1 divided by 0? No, it's not. Undefined. Right? Can't divide by 0, undefined. Until you get to calculus and you realize we lied to you all these years. Isn't that nice? It made me mad too. I know, right? Don't worry about it yet. Can't divide by 0 in pre-calc. We're good. But calculus, they do all sorts of weird stuff in calculus that'll make you mad. So sine, we're looking at y values again, right? So when we get cosecant is a horizontal line. Probably a good thing to write down, right? Cosecant is horizontal line, and secant is vertical line. So cosecant horizontal. I think of it like crossing the y-axis, right? So that's what makes it horizontal, whereas secant is vertical. So that'll just help you if you start messing up with the graph, because sometimes you get one of the order pairs wrong and it gets super confusing. So we're doing y values again, right? So pi over 6 is, so what do I have to do? If I get 1/2, it would be 1 over 1/2. Copy dot flip. So if I see 1/2, what do I just do with 1/2? Just flip it, right? So I'm just going to write 2 right there, because I'm just flipping it, right? And then if I look at pi over 3, I have 2 over root 3. You might want to rationalize, but who the hell cares? Just plug it into your calculator, right? So we don't really have to rationalize there. So if we do 2 divided by root 3, I'd have it right there. So 1.2, so a little over 1. Because we're just graphing on the little concentric circles, so it doesn't matter. Okay, then we do pi over 2, the y value is 1. If I flip 1, I still get 1. If I do 2 pi over 3, I get 2 over root 3, which is 1.2 again. And then if I do 5 pi over 6, I flip 1/2 and I get positive 2. It's much easier, right? Then especially look at all the math up top versus down here. It's much easier. And remember, it's going to be a horizontal line. So cosecant is horizontal line. And then secant is vertical line. Okay, I would definitely memorize that. So we get undefined there. We get pi over 6 and 2. So we're right there. Then we get pi over 3 and 1.2. About right there. And then we get pi over 2 and 1. We get 2 pi over 3 and 1.2. And then we get 5 pi over 6 and 2. So that's your horizontal line. All right, that's it. Your homework is basically the rest of that sheet. If you finish it today and want me to stamp it on the sheet and on your assignment sheet, I am happy to do so.